I can understand when people talk to me, but I don't know how to answer them. How many of you can relate to this statement? Or have already heard it from at least one of your students? In this video, I'm going to tell you why this happens and what are receptive and productive skills. But before, let me ask you to subscribe to this channel to help me reach more and more people. Now, let's go! Hello exam seekers, I'm Patty and today I'm talking about receptive skills and productive skills. I'm sure that many of you have already heard your students saying that they can understand things in English, but they can't speak in the English language. Or you might feel like you understand when you read a book in English, but you cannot write in the English language. Am I right? Well, this happens because receptive skills are usually the first skills we learn in a foreign language, while productive skills tend to be more developed or better noticed by the students after a longer time. The ability to put sense together and start reacting to what is heard or read, rather than merely understand what you listen to or read, is something that perhaps the biggest struggle of students of a second language. Also, if you are taking the CELTA course, chances are that during the course you will eventually come across the terms receptive skills and productive skills frequently. And you will need to understand the differences between them, since you will probably be preparing lesson plans on both skills. Therefore, you will need to know which are the steps you will need for receptive skills and which are the ones for productive skills. Even though they seem very similar, they are not. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you what are skills and the differences between receptive skills and productive skills. What are skills? According to Cambridge Dictionary, skill is the ability to do an activity or a job well, especially because you have done it many times. For us, teachers and students, skills are abilities related to absorbing and producing language. To put it shortly, what we call receptive skills are the reading and listening abilities, while speaking and writing are known as productive skills. Nevertheless, what does it mean exactly? All in all, these terms are closely related to comprehension and the use of language respectively. Therefore, in the language acquisition process, it is perhaps a rule of thumb that you will need to understand and have considerate input and opportunities to engage in the target language before you start producing it. After all, the more language you have been exposed to and the more chances to put it into practice, the better its acquisition and development. For this reason, it is of great importance to keep in mind what could help learners to develop both skills appropriately and with balance. So, what are the receptive skills? As I mentioned, receptive skills are passive skills. It is the ability to understand someone talking or to understand what is written. Regarding listening and reading, there are two ways students are going to develop these abilities. The first one is through extensive exposure, which tends to be done out of the classroom, when they read books, the news, watch series, and listen to a variety of things in the target language. This type of exposure is closely related to leisure and pleasure. The second one is through intensive exposure, which usually happens in class, and students are led through a path in which they engage in the text or audio presented. In the CELTA course, you will be more familiar with the following steps for receptive skills, as in vocabulary exercises, tasks to help general and detailed comprehension, and even a reaction to what was read or listened to. What about productive skills? They are active skills. It is the ability to produce language in written or oral form. In terms of speaking and writing, this is the opportunity the learners have to practice the language and produce it. So students face here the challenge of putting all they have already learned into sentences, paragraphs, texts, and even speeches. That may be perhaps the ability students fear the most, since they will not rely on the text to understand, but instead be the ones saying the things for others to follow. During the lessons, students interact with their peers and teachers, be it orally or through written texts. Therefore, not only are they evaluated on their speaking and writing, but they also tend to have some feedback on what was said or written. There is a different correction criteria if compared to the correction of receptive skills, for instance. In a CELTA lesson, when designing a lesson plan for a productive skill, CELTIs will probably include the following steps in the lessons. 1. A model for the learners. 2. Some appropriate vocabulary. 3. Chances to practice this new vocabulary. And 4. A production task. These will all need to fit into the genre of a text or even the type of speaking class the teacher has designed, be it to improve discussing the pros and cons, giving opinion, etc. In general, teachers are likely to create classes in which students can practice all skills appropriately, teaching techniques to ease comprehension of receptive skills and also providing vocabulary and strategies used to communicate, be it orally or in written form. I will talk more extensively about each of these skills in the following videos and explain more features of each one of them. In the meantime, tell me in the comments, how about you? Which skill do you struggle with the most? What about the skills you find it easier? And what are the techniques you know that help you with them? I'd love to hear them all. Well, I hope that this content was useful for you. And if you want more content like this one, make sure to subscribe to this channel and also like the video. Don't forget to share this video with the others. Okie dokie. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching me and see you next time. Bye bye. Remember, knowledge is never enough. Bye bye. Right in the English language. Therefore, in the following guys, let me just say that it was not easy to record today. Thanks for watching me. Bye bye.